Hi everyone, and welcome back to Fully Playable Games. So on today's video, we are doing a random pickups video, but we're going to start it off a bit differently because I am just on my way to go and do a eBay pickup. And yeah, this, I have to admit, I first saw this listed on eBay. The seller sent me an offer, and by the time I went to actually accept the offer, he'd ended the listing, relisted it, but then listed it for £100 more than the pre-offer price. So I pinged him a message, said to him, would you accept the offer price that you sent over? He was like, yeah, not a problem. I accidentally relisted it for more. Didn't mean to do that, but yeah, so I've paid it, and yeah, I'm going to go and pick it up. It is up in London, so we've got about an hour's drive ahead of us, but yeah, we will go and pick it up. It is absolutely superb. I can't wait to get hold of it. So yeah, what I'm going to do is put a bit of footage of me travelling up there, put a bit of footage of me in the car, and then yeah, we'll have a proper look at it when we get home. So yeah, I will see you when we get back. Okay, so now we're back in the games room. We can actually have a look at the bits that I've picked up. But what I'm going to do is I've actually got some other bits as well to go through before we get to the store displays that I've picked up, which I've got them set up and they are absolutely amazing. I'm really happy with them. So yeah, we'll go through them in a little while. First off, I've got a couple more bits to go through before we dive into them. And the first couple that we've got are a couple of handhelds that I picked up from Nikki. So these are all the sort of old style handhelds. So the first one that we've got is Vampire Attack. I will admit I haven't actually played any of these yet. So yeah, don't know too much about what they do or anything like that. Paid £5 for that one. Looking it up online, it goes for about £20 on eBay. And then the other one that we got was one that I'd actually been after for a while, and it's a real random one, but I know a lot of people have actually heard of it, and that is the Game Child. So this is the Game Child Mark II. And yeah, this was basically, as you can see, Game Child, Game Boy. It was designed to look as close to the Game Boy as they could make. But what was good with this one is it did have interchangeable games. So you'll see here we've got UFO currently in there. They do just pop out, and we've actually got 3 different games with it. So we've got UFO, soccer, and also basketball. So yeah, that was really good, and yeah, I've been after a Game Child for a while. When I first started looking to get one for the collection, they were about £80–90, and I just didn't want to pay that for them, but they have really dropped off over the last sort of 12 to 18 months. So I paid £5 for that one as well with all the games, and on average they go for about £30 now on eBay, which is really good. And then diving into a couple of the other bits that I've picked up. So the first one was a box and manual for a game that we already had. I think we already had the game and the manual, but the manual that come with this one was actually in a better condition. And that is Pokemon Pinball. So yeah, we picked up the cartridge and the manual at the Sunday Boot Fair, I think it was last year. And it was one of the boxes that I've been looking to get hold of because I really wanted to have it complete in box, but it was obviously I had to find one that had the internal tray because the cart was a different size. and it basically had the rumble feature built into it. You couldn't just use a standard Game Boy Color tray. So yeah, I had to make sure that whatever box I had, whatever box I got hold of, had the tray in. And yeah, this one had the tray, had the manual, and as I say, the manual was in a bit better condition. And then luckily, I managed to find a company that actually sold a box protector for this box, because the box is thicker than the normal Game Boy boxes. So yeah, luckily I was able to get a box protector for it. So now that is going to go onto the Game Boy shelves. So for that, as I say, it was an eBay auction. So I managed to get it for £23.39. On average, the box on its own goes for about £30. So yeah, really happy with that. Then next up, we've got another watch. So as you've seen in recent videos, I've been really sort of trying hard to get a collection of the gaming watches, and this was one of the ones that I've been looking at for a while now, but every time I saw it, it was over £100, £100 to £150. Then managed to come across this one. Once again, it was listed as a 40, but once I got it, put a new battery in, gave it a bit of a clean, and it was all good. And that is the Tetris watch. So now we've got Star Fox, Super Mario Bros. 3, Zelda, and Tetris. There are a few more for me to get. I think there's a Super Mario Land and a couple of different variants of the Mario ones. So yeah, there are still more for me to look out for. But at the moment, I'm really happy that I've got the set of 4 now. So yeah, really chuffed to have that in the collection. Paid £45.99 for it. As I say, on average they go for about £150 in working condition. So yeah, really happy to have that one as well now. Then next up, right, so this is an NES cart, and it just happened to come in one of the search alert emails that I've got set up on eBay, and it was fairly cheap. So I was like, do you know what, I'm just going to grab it. And that is the Adventures of Bayou Billy. So I'd heard people talk about this. I've heard sort of a couple of different people mention it. So yeah, when I saw it and saw that it was a fairly cheap price, I decided just to pull the trigger on it. So paid £9.99. Goes for £8 at CEX, £10 on eBay. So didn't really save anything on it. But yeah, as I say, it was not a game that I'd seen out in the wild. So I thought I'd just grab it. And yeah, it was an interesting one. So it's like you play sort of Bayou Billy, which the character actually looks very much like Crocodile Dundee, and it's essentially a 2D sort of beat 'em up. It is an interesting one because I found that the enemies you were fighting were very overpowered, in respects that it would take you about 10 hits to take an enemy down. It just very much sort of, yeah, I just felt it was unbalanced. So you got like multiple enemies coming at you, and I think at one point I was playing it and there was 3 different enemies attacking me on screen, and yeah, it was just nigh on impossible. But yeah, another NES cart to add to the collection, so really happy with that. Right, so next up, this was another eBay auction, and this was a auction for a bunch of boxes, and it is a whole stack of Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance boxes. So yeah, some of them I've got carts and manuals for, some of them I haven't got anything for. But obviously having the box makes it a bit easier to put a complete one together. So the first box that we've got is Pitfall Beyond the Jungle. So yeah, I've not played any of the Pitfall games. Obviously I've seen the original one on the 2600, but never had it, never played it. So yeah, that was in there. It is the NTSC version, so whenever I do get a cart for it, I'll need to make sure that I pick up the NTSC version. Then we've got Power Rangers Time Force. Not a series that I am familiar with. I grew up very much in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers era. So yeah, don't know too much about this one. Once again, don't have anything for this yet, so this will be one to keep an eye out for. Then we've got Shrek, Hassle at the Castle. Once again, looks like a 2D platformer. So yeah, that'll be another one to keep an eye out for. I will get to some that I have actually got in a minute, I promise. Then we've got Tom and Jerry, the Magical Ring. Once again, looks like sort of an isometric platformer. Once again, it is an NTSC cart, so we'll need to make sure that or NTSC box, sorry. So I need to make sure that I get the NTSC cart when I pick it up. And then the first one that we've got that we're actually going to use, and that is the Scooby-Doo box. So yeah, this one, we did actually buy a box originally, but it was in such an awful state that I just didn't want to use it. It looked like it had been sat in something, and yeah, it just felt and looked absolutely awful. So yeah, when I saw this was in there, that was a real positive. So I'll be putting the cart and the manual in there as soon as I finish. So actually that as well, looking that up, now I've got it complete. That goes for about £10 on eBay. The other one that we've got the cart for is Monsters Inc. And I actually think I've got the manual for this as well. No, it says I've got the manual. Sorry, it says I've ate the cart. I don't know if I've got the manual for this, so I'll have to have a look. If not, I will look to get the manual. Once again, once again, in complete condition, this would go for about £10. Then the next one is a fake one, so I'm not going to be doing too much with that, and that is Crash Bandicoot, the Huge Adventure. Yeah, it is very glossy, the colours are absolutely awful, and yeah, it is just not a genuine box. So yeah, that one, won't be doing too much with it. I will say actually, yeah, the manual's fake, but I will use the tray inside. Yeah, if you can see the manual, it is all elongated and just like really poor print quality. And literally that's it. There's just nothing there. So yeah, it is what it is. As I say, sort of, I didn't pay too much for this whole bundle, so I'm not too worried about that. Next one that we've got is Finding Nemo. Now I think we've already got this complete in box. I actually managed to pick that up from one of the boot fairs earlier on in the year. I thought that I had a spare cart of this. I know that I've got a spare manual, so yeah, I might have a look, see if I've got a spare cart, and then what I might do is I might just bundle it up and flip that. Because in complete condition, it goes for about £9. So yeah, I might find a collector that is interested in it, but I'm not sure whether I've got the cart. I had a quick look through the drawer of carts and couldn't see it, so I need to double check with that one. And then the last box that was in the listing was Inspector Gadget Advanced Mission. Not a game that I've heard of, but I do remember I grew up watching Inspector Gadget, so definitely one that I want to track down, and yeah, get the cart and manual for it. I will say a lot of the boxes do have the internal tray as well, so that makes it a bit easier. And then what I will say is, before I get to the price that I paid for all the boxes, when it arrived, I opened it up and there was actually an additional box in there that wasn't in the listing. And that was the NES Classics Donkey Kong box. And I will admit, this box is in absolutely superb condition. So this is one that I am definitely going to be trying to track down the cart and manual for, because yeah, I really want to get this complete. So yeah, that is going to be the next cart that I'm keeping my eye out for. And yeah, so for all of them, so what do we have? We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 boxes in total, 9 that we can use. I paid £10.72. That's delivered. So I thought that was an absolutely amazing price for all those boxes. And as I say, it's going to make it a lot easier to get some more complete in-box games for the collection, as well as completing a couple that we already had in the collection. So yeah, really happy with that. Right, next up, all right, we've got a bit of an accessory. And this one was, so I got a message from one of the collectors slash resellers that I know from the boot fair. And he picked up a couple of these and he was looking to get rid of them. And when we were talking, he was like, yeah, well, I'm just doing everything for either CEX voucher price or eBay pricing minus the fees. So I saw this, and it'd been one thing that I've been wanting for a while. And yeah, so I'll show you what it is. So it is the PS3 sharpshooter. So what you do is pull that off, you put the move controller in there, and then there's a space in the bottom for the, I don't actually know what it's called, but it's basically the move controller with the controller stick on it. And yeah, it is a really, really good gun. I've wanted this for a while because it plays really well with things like Resistance Fall of Man 3, which has integration with PlayStation Move. So yeah, I've been after it for a while, but every time I look at it, or every time I'd have it, had an offer for it, it was just more than I wanted to pay. So yeah, he had two of them. One that was missing the top bit of plastic, and another one that was complete. So I said I was interested in the complete one, but what he actually wanted was, because it sells for so much more on eBay, he wanted it close to the eBay price, and that was way more than I wanted to pay. So I actually ordered it from CEX. So the CEX price is £25. So once I had it delivered, a total I paid was £27.95. If you look it up on eBay, they're going for about £70. So yeah, there's a massive difference there. So I picked it up from CEX. As I say, I've got no ill will the fact of what the seller was asking for, because what they were asking for was completely justifiable. But I was able to get it cheaper elsewhere. And I will say I have actually bought a couple of other bits from this guy, and that will be in a future game hunt video. So yeah, really happy to finally have that in the collection. The only thing I need to get now is the controller that goes in the bottom part with the sort of the analog stick. So I don't actually have one of them in the collection, so I need to keep my eye out. I might have a look, see if I can find one online. Right, next up we've got a PS4 game, and this was a game that I'd seen a couple of people talk about, and it's actually got a really interesting history to it, and that is is it Gina Sisters, I think is how you pronounce it, Twisted Dreams Director's Cut. And this is a basically a sort of 2D sort of platformer with a very, very interesting mechanic. So at certain parts of the level, you've got the two sisters, and at certain parts of the level you have to switch to the different sisters in order to proceed, because they're like in sort of different dimensions sort of thing. Yeah, really interesting mechanic. But the actual the Gina Sisters actually dates back to was it the NES, I think it is. And basically what it originally started off as was a Super Mario Brothers clone. So I'll try and find some footage of the original version. And basically what they done was they just reskinned the original Mario Brothers. Apparently they got heavily sued by Nintendo, and the game is extremely expensive to get hold of now. But yeah, I really found it as a sort of an interesting history to it. So yeah, as I say, I saw it online. I think I'd actually sort of seen it in one of the pickup videos for another YouTuber, and yeah, thought it was really thought the history was interesting. So that's why I decided to grab it. Then next up we get into a new game. So this was a game that I had pre-ordered, and I will admit I haven't actually played it yet. I mean, the footage that you're seeing is probably sort of trailer footage, and that is Luigi's Mansion 2 HD on the Switch. So this is the HD remake of Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon from the 3DS. Which actually I'm really chuffed to have, because even though I've got the 2DS version, but just being able to play it on a sort of TV with a controller is something I'm really looking forward to. Obviously, I've got Luigi's Mansion 3, and then we've also got, I think we've got an NTSC version of Luigi's Mansion on the original GameCube. So yeah, happy to have this, one that I'm hoping to get the time to sit down and play. So actually that was an Amazon pre-order, so I paid $39.99 for it. Looking it up online, it goes for about £40 at CEX, £45 on eBay. The eBay price is in the sealed condition. Then next up we've got another Amazon order. This wasn't a pre-order, but it was a game that I've been after for a while, and that is We Happy Few. So I have played this briefly. I think I played it, must have been near when it come out, but I didn't actually have a physical copy of it, so I can't remember if it was a Games with Gold or something like that. It definitely wasn't Game Pass, but yeah, I can't remember where it was that I played it, but I have played it, and then I saw this on Amazon. It was going for a fairly decent price. It was going for $11.28. But what I didn't realise at the time was that it was the NTSC version. It doesn't really matter because obviously the Xbox One is multi-region, so it's not going to affect being able to play it. But I think at some point I will look to change that out and try and get hold of a power copy. Didn't actually realise how cheap it was. So CEX are doing it for £6 now, and on eBay it goes for $12. So yeah, definitely one that I'll probably pick up next time I'm in CEX. Right, so next up we've got a Japanese PS3 game, and I will be honest, I know that I've seen this on someone's pickup videos, but I will be honest, I can't remember whose. But it just looked so cool when I saw it in the video that I decided to grab it, and that is Tokyo Jungle. So what this is you play the idea of it is basically Tokyo is now abandoned. There's no human life there. It's just animal life, and you basically play a different type of animal. So whether it's a cat, there's a couple of different dogs in there. I think one's like a Pomeranian, there's a beagle, you've got a deer in there as well, and the idea is you've got to try and survive in this abandoned Tokyo against all of the sort of the apex predators like wolves and things like that. And yeah, it's a really interesting concept. So far I haven't got too far into it. The footage that I've captured for the video is basically just the sort of tutorial levels. But yeah, it's definitely one that I am looking to get in to spend a bit of time with. It is a bit hard because there is no English text in it. It is all in Japanese. So when you're learning how the game controls, there was a couple of times where I had to basically pull out my Google Translate in order to know what the game was expecting me to do. But yeah, so really interesting one, that one. Paid £13.55 for it. Looking it up online, normally goes for about 15, so yeah, saved a couple of quid on that one. Right, so this next game is one that I have been after now for probably about 2 years. And it's one that I've been closely watching on eBay and basically looking for one that was either an auction or that was going cheap. And actually what happened with this one was when just after I filmed the intro to this video, I actually got an alert on my phone to say that it had 15 minutes left on it. So I think at the time I was waiting for Nicky to come out of his house, and so I just unlocked the phone, had a look, noticed that there was no bidders on it. So I was like, do you know what, I'll chuck a bid on and see what happens. Wasn't expecting anything, because normally what happens is you get a lot of people that wait until the very end and bid within the last sort of minute or so. So as I say, I wasn't expecting to win it at all, especially the fact that it was a Sunday as well. But bidded, and then yeah, 15 minutes later we're on the drive heading towards London, and then all of a sudden I get an alert on my phone to say that I'd won it. And I was absolutely over the moon, because this is one that is going on the Game Boy shelf, and yeah, it is one that I've been missing for ages, and it's one that's actually going to allow me to complete a set. and that is Super Mario Land 3 Wario Land. So yeah, we've currently got Mario Land 1 and 2 up on the shelf, and I had been after this for ages, but obviously I wanted it complete in box so that it could go side by side with the other two. And yeah, I will admit, even playing it, it was an absolutely brilliant game. It's one, it feels very similar to Wario Land on the Virtual Boy. Now, obviously, on the Virtual Boy, you've got the sort of two dimensions to it, whereas this one, it is just a 2D platformer, very, very similar to Mario Land 2. So that same sort of map, overworld, same sort of graphics, very much looks like it's been built in the exact same engine, just reskinned with Wario. And yeah, absolutely over the moon to finally have this in the collection. And I will say, overall, it's in really good condition. So yeah, really chuffed to get that in the collection. And what I'm going to do is something I've been dying to do since it arrived. And that is to get it up on the shelf with the other two. So we've now got it complete. And yeah, absolutely brilliant. Really chuffed to have that in the collection. It's one that I've been eyeing, I've been desperate to get. But obviously normally it was going for about 70 to 80 pounds. So if I look, actually, what we've got here, where is it? There we go. Yeah, £70 at CEX, £75 on eBay. I managed to get it for £45. So yeah, I don't know why there was no bids on it or what happened there, but absolutely over the moon to have that in the collection at nearly half the normal price. Right, next up, before we move on from the Game Boy, I've got one more, no, we've got a couple more editions for the Game Boy actually, but this next one, was a carton manual that I bought, and actually I'm only interested in the manual because we've got the game, we recently got the box, we've had the cart for a while, and all I was missing was the manual, and that is for Small Soldiers. So yeah, as I say, we got... it's just up here because I haven't sorted it out yet. We got the box a couple of weeks ago. We already had the game. I think I picked that up from a boot fair. And yeah, I was missing the manual, so I come across this listing that had both game and manual. I paid £9.20, so it was an auction. Got them for £9.20, and I thought, you know what, I can get the manual and then sell the cart. So the manual will go in the box. So cart only price is £5 at CEX, £10 on eBay, and that's got a 160 voucher. So what I'll do is I'll probably send it on eBay, and then yeah, probably cost me about £4 for the manual. But now that I've got the game complete in box now, the CIB price is £30 on CEX, £50 on eBay. So yeah, really, really chuffed with that because we paid nowhere near that to put this all together. I think I'm probably into it for, if I get the manual for £4, say, then we're probably all in for about £20 at most. So really, really happy with that. And yeah, another addition to the Game Boy collection, which I am actually really, really enjoying collecting for the Game Boy. Definitely getting the sort of complete in-box games. Really, really good. Right, so next up we go back to the PS4. We've got another PS4 game, and this was another one which I'm pretty sure this was a Metal Jesus and Radical Reggie pickup, and that is Gundam Breaker 3. This is the Break Edition, so this is the one that actually has all of the DLC included with it. So if I look on the back, 6 DLC, it's all on disc as well. So yeah, really happy to have that, and actually a really good game. So basically it is a sort of open world type sort of brawler basically, and yeah, really, really enjoyed playing it. Definitely one that I'm going to spend a bit more time on. Paid £29 for that. Looking it up online, it normally goes for about £40 on eBay. So that was I don't know, I think that was an eBay pickup, so I think I managed to find sort of like a cheap listing that had it. But yeah, really, really chuffed to have that. And actually I think, So this is a region 3 disc. So I'm wondering, region 3, is that that's Japan, isn't it? I'm trying to see. Yeah, voice is Japanese, subtitles in English. So yeah, it's a Japanese game. So yeah, really happy to have that. Okay, so next up, I think, is our last Game Boy edition for today. Once again, it is another box only. And this was a game, once again, I think we got from the collector that I was able to go through his collection a couple of weeks ago. And that is Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Advanced 4, Super Mario Bros 3. So basically this is the 4th game in the Super Mario Advance series, and what it is it's a remake of Super Mario Brothers 3 on the Game Boy Advance. So yeah, as I say, we got the cart and manual when we went through that collector's collection a few weeks ago, and I was able to come across a box. So as soon as I saw it, I grabbed it. The box is in really good condition. There's a bit of creasing to the top cover, but other than that, it is in really good condition. I ended up getting this, once again, it was another auction, and it was basically the box with all of the inserts, the manual and all the safety leaflets, everything. So yeah, really happy with that. Paid £11.22 for that. And normally the box goes for about £12, but that is box only. That doesn't include all of the other bits that are inside. So yeah, really happy to have that one. And as I say, that is the last Game Boy edition to the collection for today. But it is not, I'm just going to reorganise a bit, not the last Mario edition, because we've got a couple more. And the next one is the Super Mario 3D World soundtrack. So this was one that I had seen before. The way that it works with the Super Mario soundtracks, they are always Club Nintendo exclusives. So they're very, unless you can get it when it's actually being sort of produced and sort of sold by Nintendo. Obviously you can only buy it with Club Nintendo points normally. And yeah, they normally become really rare, really expensive. So this was one that I'd sort of seen for a while, and it was just too expensive. It was like £70–80, and there's no way I was going to pay that for a soundtrack. This one come up, where are we? So this was another auction. So yeah, I'd been watching it for a while, and it hadn't really sort of moved. So I was watching it, and then come to the end, and I decided to just pull the trigger on it. Got it for £14.10. And then looking, normal sale price for this is about £40 on eBay. And yeah, really chuffed to have this in the collection. Definitely going to add this in with the soundtrack collection, which we've got quite a few going now. I'm really happy with how many we've got now. We've got some really good ones. I will admit, there are some that I would love to have in the collection, but you're looking at hundreds of pounds for them. I think one of the ones that I'd love to have is the Portal soundtrack. I think the music in those games are absolutely superb. But last time I looked, you're looking at about 250 quid for the Portal soundtrack, and I don't think there is any time or place that I could justify spending 250 quid on a video game soundtrack, unfortunately. But yeah, it will be one. It is one that I'll keep my eye out for. If I'm ever able to get it cheap, then I'll grab it. But yeah, I don't think that will ever happen. Okay, so moving on. Next up, we've got another Amazon pickup, and this is a PS5 game. And I have to say, this game was absolutely amazing. One of the best games I've played all year. And that is Still Wakes the Deep. So in this game, you play a oil rig worker on a North Sea oil rig. And basically the rig drills into something that they shouldn't have. And it basically infests the rig and basically overtakes the rig, basically killing all the people in it. Best way to describe it is as a cross between the movie dramatisation of Deepwater Horizon and The Thing. And I know that's a very weird way to describe it, but basically, as I say, you're based on an oil rig. The rig is basically falling apart, and sort of destroying itself, that's where the sort of the Deepwater Horizon part comes from. But then it is mutating all of the workers on the rigs and everything like that, and that's where the thing references come from. It is superb. So there was a few bugs when I was playing it. I had one point towards the beginning actually, where I think I got stuck on the bottom of a ladder, and actually had to reload a save. And then there were a couple of sort of like textures clipping and sort of things like that. But I will say, apart from that one time where I got caught up on a ladder, they don't really affect the gameplay. And the story just drags you in. It is a superb game. It really, really is. I literally sat down and I completed it in one run. I literally sat there, played it from start to finish, completed it in about 3.5 hours. And yeah, absolutely superb. I can't speak highly enough of it. And as I say, even the graphics are amazing. Obviously there was a couple of sort of texture bugs and things like that, but once again, nothing that really takes away from the story. I will say, with it being, so we paid, I bought it from Amazon because I wanted the physical version, but it is available on Game Pass. And I will say, unless you're a physical collector, if you just want to play the game, definitely just grab it digitally. Whether it's through Game Pass or the PlayStation Store, just grab it and play it, because it is superb. There's one out of all the games that I've picked up recently, that is the one game that I recommend everyone playing. It is superb. Even if you just stick it on story mode and just play through it for the story, absolutely brilliant. Highly recommend it. So yeah, $29.95 I paid for it. Goes for £28 at CEX. And normally goes to £45 new on eBay. So yeah, really, really happy to have that. Then next up, we managed to get a console variant that I was missing in the collection, and I think actually this is now going to complete my run of Xboxes, and it was an Xbox One X. So yeah, this was the only one that I didn't have. I had the Xbox One, the One S, but didn't have the One X. Now I managed to pick this one up as a 40 unit. So the listing said that it didn't have any power, or wouldn't turn on. I have tested it, it doesn't turn on, but with those consoles, it's actually a fairly simple fix. Normally it is just one component on the board that's gone bad. You swap that out, it then all works. So yeah, I will have a look at it. I will record it, but if it's the same as the same fix as the One S that we done a couple of weeks ago, then I won't put the video out. But if it's something a bit different, a bit more interesting, then yeah, I'll probably put that video out either next week or within the next couple of weeks. So paid $29.99 for that. Once again, that was another eBay auction. Once it's fixed, it will go for about £60 on CEX. And then if I was to pick it up, normally pick it up in this condition, in a 40 condition, they normally go for about £60 40 on eBay. So yeah, really, really happy to have that in the collection. As I say, that is now going to complete my Xbox run, basically. So I've now got all the versions of the Fat 360. I've got 2 versions of the original Xbox. I've got the Slim, I've got the E for the 360. Then I've got the Xbox One, One S, One X, the Xbox Series S, and the Xbox Series X. So yeah, I think that is pretty much it. And then obviously in between there, you've got all of the limited edition versions, which I've got a couple of, but not masses. So yeah, really, really happy to have that and finally tick off the last Xbox that I was needing. Right, so next up we've got another NES game. This time this one is complete in box. But the reason I picked it up, obviously I'm not really going for complete in box NES games anymore. I've got a couple of games on my list that I do want complete, but in general I am going to just go for car onlys now. And that is Gremlins 2, the new batch. And the reason, I'll be honest, the reason why I picked it up is the box isn't in great condition. It is bashed up, creased up, and yeah, not in overall great condition. But I ended up getting it for a really cheap price. I think I pretty much paid the cart only price for the complete in box. So yeah, it was an easy one to pick up. Paid £15 for it. It goes for £28 on eBay in complete. Sorry, £28 on CEX in complete condition, and £35 on eBay. And as I say, on eBay it normally goes for about £15 cart only. So yeah, really happy to have that. And it's actually a game that I've been looking at for a while, because I do actually have the Game Boy version of this, and that was one of the games that I had back in the day when Game Boy was one of my sort of main consoles. So yeah, really happy to have the NES version. Right, so next up we get into a couple of limited run games that I've picked up recently. So I think I've said on a couple of other videos, I have been frantically ordering limited run games at the moment. I think I've got one pre-order due every month now, right the way up until April next year. And a lot of them are the collector's editions. So yeah, and I think actually later this week I've got another one to pre-order, and that will be the Lollipop Chainsaw Repop. The physical version is actually being released through limited run. So yeah, as soon as that becomes available, I'm going to jump on and order it straight away. But this one was another pre-order that I made, and that is the Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 Complete Edition on the Switch. And yeah, I absolutely loved the original Roller Coaster Tycoons. 1 to 3, absolutely superb. And yeah, when I saw this, you know, I thought I'd grab it because it could be an interesting one to pop in the Switch, use the sort of touchscreen element, and yeah, sort of just thought it was worth a shout. So I ended up paid £43.15. Obviously that is converting it from sort of dollars to sterling, and with the delivery charge as well. But looking it up online, these are currently selling for £100 on eBay in a sealed condition. So just like with everything limited run, as soon as they stop the run, they become extremely expensive. So that was the reason why I picked it up, because I knew as soon as this run finished, it would skyrocket in price. So yeah, really happy to have that. Then there was a couple of other ones as well. So the next one, they're both PS5, the next ones. Next one is American Hero. So this is an FMV game. I will be honest, I can't remember what the original platform it was. Yeah, I'm not sure what the original platform. I'll put a little message down the bottom what this was originally released on. I think it was either the CDI or the Mega CD. But yeah, I'd seen a couple of people sort of talk about this, and then a couple of weeks after I saw them talking about the original version, saw that this was being released through limited run. No, sorry, this had already been released through limited run, but it finished. And these two games, I actually managed to get them in the limited run sale. And yeah, it was absolutely brilliant because they were double the price buying them on eBay than what I paid through limited run. So yeah, really happy to have that one. I haven't got individual prices for these two games because I bought them as sort of one order. But American Hero goes for about £55 on eBay. And then this next one is one that I had been desperate to get. I'd been looking at it across all formats, Switch, PS4, PS5. I didn't even know there was a PS5 actually until I went to order it. They had both the Switch and the PS4 versions that I was looking at on eBay. And yeah, on eBay they were, yeah, it's about a £70 game. So then when I saw that this was in the limited run sale, I just grabbed it. It was the first one that I went to. And that is Night Trap. So this is a HD remaster of the original Mega CD game. I've got the original Mega CD version, but really wanted one on the sort of more modern hardware. I will admit I was a bit disappointed playing it on the Mega CD. I just found that it just didn't take my inputs in the way that I was expected to. So yeah, really happy to have this one now. As I say, normally this is a £70 to £80 game on eBay, so to nab it for, well, less than that. So for both games I paid £73 and 5p, so you're looking at about £35 that I picked it up, so half the price of the eBay sale. So yeah, really happy with that, and yeah, absolutely over the moon to have this in the collection now, and it's one that I am going to play as soon as I get the time. So that is all of the games, but now we need to get to the big part of the video, and that is the standees that I've managed to get hold of. So you give me 2 secs, I'm going to go and grab them, get them set up, so you can actually have a look at them. So here they are, my Super Mario Brothers Wonder store displays. So as you can see behind me, I've got 2 standees. We've also got the display box as well, which wasn't in the original listing. But when I got there, the seller said that you had it. Would I be interested in it? I think I paid a £5 for it, which I was more than happy to pick it up for that. But the main pickup was the 2 standees behind me. What I didn't realise at the time was that they were actually double-sided. So you'll see here we've got the Mario and Luigi side, and then on the other side you've got Daisy and Peach. Unfortunately, I am absolutely gutted that we don't have the Peach part of the standee. We've got Daisy, but yeah, it didn't actually come with the Peach, so obviously that had been lost since it was on display, which, yeah, a bit gutted that it's not complete. But as I say, we've got the Mario and Luigi side, which is absolutely brilliant, and yeah, I just love these, and I got them for such a great price. So originally the seller had them up for £150 for all of it, and he then sent me an offer on like a Friday or something, and I was going to do it on the Sunday evening. I was going to accept the offer just before the offer was due to expire. So he sent me the offer of £100, and then when I went to actually accept and pay, he'd actually ended the auction, relisted them for £250. So I was like, well, I'm not paying £250 for them. I sent the guy a message saying, like, oh, you sent me an offer the other day for £100. But I've noticed you've relisted them for £250. He was like, oh yeah, sorry, that was the wrong price. I meant to relist them for £150. But I will, if you send me an offer for them, I'll accept it £100. So I was like, definitely, 100%. So yeah, I sort of sent him the offer. He accepted it. And basically, I think it was after the boot fair that we then went and picked them up. And yeah, they've been sitting in the corner of my living room, so every time I'm sat downstairs or I go into the kitchen, anything, I've got to walk past Elephant Mario there. And yeah, I will admit, if I had the room in the games room, they would be up here permanently, because I absolutely love them. I mean, out of all of my standees, these are definitely right the way up there near the top. Yeah, they're probably just inching ahead of the Spartan Halo 5 standee that we've got, but the little one and the wife love that so much. It's actually in the dining room where the wife works, and yeah, I would not be allowed to move that out of the dining room now. So yeah, really chuffed to have these in the collection. And yeah, that is going to wrap it up for today's video. But before we go, let's quickly run through the totals. So total spend today was £615 and 51p. That would, if we were to get everything we could from CEX, we would be looking at £405. And if we get everything we could from eBay, it would have been £135. Sorry, £1,035 and 50p. Obviously, that doesn't include the standees because, yeah, I just can't. This was the only listing that I've ever seen for them. I've seen a couple of people sort of offering them up on Facebook, but didn't actually have a price. And then but I will say the display cube, that does sell for about £17.50. online. So yeah, absolutely amazing, really chuffed, and yeah, really happy to have them in the collection. So with that said, that is going to wrap up today's video. But before you head off, if you did enjoy the video, don't forget to hit that like button, and if you're not already, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell to be kept up to date when I upload new videos. And yeah, with that said, thank you so much for watching today. Really hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye.